Thank you, Amy, for sharing in your precious inputs. It was a pleasure to have you on my show. And with that, let me now shift focus over to North Korea. The country has finally made its first public confirmation that a U.S. soldier did cross into its territory in July this year. The confirmation has prompted an appeal from Travis King's family to treat him humanely. Several questions, however, remain about why he entered one of the most hostile countries on earth at a time of heightened tensions on the peninsula. While U.S. officials say that Travis King willfully and without authorization crossed into North Korea on July 18, they have not received a substantive response even after repeatedly trying to contact North Korea. King is a cavalry scout who joined the military in January of 2021, and he was to face disciplinary procedures in Texas ahead of crossing into North Korea. Meanwhile, the soldier's mother, Claudine Gates, has asked Pyongyang to treat him humanely and grant him a phone call to speak with her. As the public sympathy towards the family grows, there remains uncertainty on what is being meted out to the soldier in one of the most hostile countries on earth. But what has brought the latest twist to this story is the fact that reports are now indicating that Travis King has in fact accused the U.S. Army of racism, and that apparently was the reason why Travis defected over to the north. We'll delve deeper into it with our guest in just a bit, but here's a report.
North Korea says Travis King, the U.S. Army private who dashed across the border from South Korea last month, wants refuge from racism and mistreatment in the U.S., either in the north or in another country. This is the first time Pyongyang has publicly confirmed King crossed over the heavily guarded demilitarized zone on July 17th. The North's official state news agency, KCNA, posted on its website that during an investigation, quote, Travis King confessed that he had decided to come over to the DPRK as he harbored ill feeling against inhumane maltreatment and racial discrimination within the U.S. Army. He also expressed his willingness to seek refuge in the DPRK or a third country, saying that he felt disillusioned with the unequal American society. DPRK stands for the North's official name, the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. KCNA also said King was kept under control by soldiers in North Korea and that the investigation they mentioned is still active. U.S. officials believe King crossed the border intentionally while on a civilian tour of the joint security area between the two Koreas, and have declined so far to call him a prisoner of war. U.S. officials also say the North has not provided substantive responses to their queries on King. The Pentagon said it could not verify the North's version of King's comments as KCNA had reported them, and said it remains focused on his safe return. King previously faced 2 allegations of assault in South Korea, pleading guilty to one of those allegations, as well as damaging a police car during a profanity-laced tirade against Koreans, according to court documents. After finishing military detention in South Korea, King was taken to the airport to return to his home unit in the United States. He was supposed to face more disciplinary measures upon arrival, but instead King left the airport, joined a tour of the border, and crossed the DMZ despite attempts by South Korean and U.S. guards to stop him.
All right, let me bring in my guest now. I'm joined in by Bishop Garrison, who's the fellow at the National Security Institute at JMU Law, also the adjunct professor at Georgetown University. Thank you so much, Bishop, for joining in. If you did listen into those bits that have been shared in the KCNA report, keeping those in mind, do take us through also about how for decades Pyongyang has highlighted racial discrimination in the U.S. Is North Korea using King's case to resist pressure over human rights?
Yeah, first of all, thank you for having me. I think North Korea is using this situation as any possible amount of leverage that it can against the United States and in furtherance of North Korea's interests. They want to see if there's some opportunity to leverage this young 23-year-old private for some type of possible financial support from the United States or some type of prisoner exchange. That's ultimately what this is about. I do not believe that we have honest brokers in North Korea that truly care about human rights and the suffrage of people of color or underrepresented communities here in the United States. I truly think that this is about North Korea's self-interest, and they see an opportunity to take advantage of the situation.
Bishop, the UN Security Council is due to hold a meeting on Thursday to discuss the human rights situation in North Korea, and that will be for the first time since 2017. China has already opposed the move. Russia is expected to follow suit. Do decode the current geopolitical climate when this meet is happening.
Yeah, so I mean, ultimately, what you're seeing here is some of the more authoritarian regimes are not going to truly want to broker or discuss these types of human rights issues. We're seeing what Russia is doing in Ukraine right now, and the type of human rights atrocities that have taken place. We know what continues to happen, what's continued to be what reports we continue to hear, excuse me, about North Korea as well. And China continues to have its own problems domestically and continuing to try to deal with its own issues. So I'm not surprised that you would have pushback, particularly from these three countries.
Bishop, lastly, how can the US negotiate with the Hermit Kingdom? What are the complications ahead?
Well, I mean, there are a variety of complications. There are no shortage of them. But I mean, ultimately, what the U.S. has to do is say, look, we want to see this young soldier, this individual who is going to go back to Texas, as a matter of fact, to continue to serve out punishment associated with an assault in South Korea that he had been in prison for 2 months. We want to have this individual back. We want to be able to ensure that he is properly held accountable under the Uniform Code of Military Justice. And let's keep in mind, he's a 23-year-old. We want to understand more about the facts of the situation, what was going through his mindset, and give him an opportunity to actually serve his time properly and to see what type of rehabilitation at the end of the day we can have. This is not the type of international incident we want to have. His family should not have to go through this. Any family or his victims shouldn't have to go through this either.
All right. Many thanks to you, Bishop Garrison, for putting that into perspective for us.